Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Center for Practical Spirituality, where we get you started for the whole entire week, month, year, lifetime. What can I tell you? Okay, we are going to begin, and I have to apologize because my voice is a little raspy. I had some fun times, I guess you could say. Now tonight, if I'm not mistaken, we have Go Spurs Go. And so what I'm praying for is I'm praying that, we are able to dominate, put them in their place, and then, hit them where it hurts. In the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Yay. You guys do not want for me to go to a Spurs game, man. I will not even have a voice, okay? I only live vicariously through all of the wonderful reels. It's kind of like, and then it's like, especially whenever, they do the slam dunks, and then there you get that great picture, and then they do it over and over. And so sometimes I'll sit there and I'll pray again and again, because I'm like, yes! And then I hear all the crazy things that they're doing, but my favorite part of this past week was the reel that said, what was the word? Floppers, floppers, floppers. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, so today's topic, before we get into it, is going to be in reference to Scotty, okay? That's all I'm going to give you as a clue. So thank you for being here. And we're going to go ahead and get started by saying our statement of being. God is all, both visible and invisible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. And so it is. And so it is. So today's wonderful topic is going to be about Scotty. And those of us that are ancient, according to the millennials and the Zengiers, we're ancient nowadays. So we remember Scotty because we can ask him to do what? Beam me up. So let's go ahead and get into our lesson. I really loved some of these old cliches, but I didn't know how old I was until somebody actually told me. I showed him this 90-year-old lady who was just, being the diva that she is. And this 25-year-old, whenever I showed it to her, and she goes, "Oh, that's you now." And I just looked at her and I said, "Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. I greatly appreciate you." So hola, mi amor. So then weeks or months later, I told her, I said, "You want me to tell you?" I said, "What you did?" She goes, "What did I do?" And then I told her and she goes, "Oh, I said, "No." I said, "You can't apologize now." I said, "It's over and done with." Anyways, so back in the day, whenever I was a young girl, okay, I'm young at heart, and I age graciously and gracefully. Sorry. And so the beam me up, Scotty, we all know that statement. Beam me up, Scotty. Well, today we're going to be talking about that and how it has impacted us, and the wonderful metaphysical thoughts that this brings to our mind. Albert Einstein said, "When the solution is simple, God is answering." Where does God reside, ladies and gentlemen? Inside. We are God in expression. It's kind of like every moment of every day, we are God in expression. And God is not something out there. God is something right here. Right here. And, we are in the expression and in the actions that God truly desires for us to be going through. So, such is the power of right thinking. It answers every question, solves all problems, in the solution to every difficulty. Now, right now, we're having some difficulties, okay? But I'm going to say this. We have to look at the difficulties and say, I'm thankful for these difficulties because these difficulties are teaching us a lesson of what we want, what we don't want, what we're going to stand up for, and what hill you're willing to die on. Okay? I know that sounds crazy, but yesteryear, and all of those things. Oh, goodness gracious, you can't hear me? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now? Let me see. I hope, let me see. Can you guys hear me now? Can you type it into the thing real quick, please? If you can hear me. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and assume that you guys can hear me. So, in all of these times and all of these, moments and times, what is happening is that there are lessons that are being learned and taught and that we're coming to an awareness of. Thank you so much. Yay. And so let me go ahead and, look at some difficulties. We're all experiencing difficulties, but like I said, when we see these difficulties, it is, something that we are either going to rise and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to face this difficulty and I'm going to be fearless, because fear is false evidence appearing real. When we are fearless, all of a sudden, it's kind of like we will actually do the uncomfortable. And when we face the uncomfortable, we can make a difference in this world. And I want for all of us to remember that, because there are so many moments and times whenever we have to actually understand, what it really truly means to be bold in today's society. What it means to stand up, it's kind of like whenever Jesus was on this earth, whenever Muhammad was on this earth, whenever Buddha was on this earth, whenever Krishna was on this earth, all of them ended up teaching us what and how and when to actually stand for those things that are truly meant for each and every one of us to do. So one of the things that I wanted for us to, let me go ahead and see, is for us to look at difficulties. So this is what today's author went ahead and wrote. A client shared with me that she had been praying about a situation at work and was having a crisis of faith. She desperately wanted to get out of a project she was managing. She was told there was no one to take over, so she had to stay with it. How many of us have been told that before? It's like, you know what? There's only you. Andale, fix it. And you're just like, oh my God. She was feeling exhausted, frustrated, resentful of her situation and her listless team members. And she felt her prayers were unanswered. No matter how hard she tried to see things differently, she felt stuck. Most of us know what we don't want and what we don't like. And some days, wouldn't it be great to beam me up and out of the circumstances? Beam me up, Scotty. In the moment, escape seems to be the best solution. Oh, let me just escape this. However, the easy way may not be the way for our greatest lesson. Sometimes the condition we want to get out of is exact experience Spirit sent us into experience. There may be something to learn or a greater realization for our highest good. And Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, the pains and discords of human experience are not sent of God, but they do indeed stand as tests of how much God we have. Once again, I'm going to read that out loud and slower. Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote this. The pains and discords of human experience are not sent of God, but they do indeed stand as tests of how much God we have. Once again, I really want for you to listen to these words. Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, the pains and discords of human experience are not sent of God, but they do indeed stand as tests of how much God we have. Now, God equals what? L-O-V-E. And L-O-V-E equals what? God. So I want for us to take into consideration, let me read this last part. But they do indeed stand as tests of how much love we have in the pains and the discords that we may experience. Our test of faith is our willingness to work out our situations until we are shown otherwise. Our spiritual practice calls on us to expand our commitment, develop patience and resilience, and to stand firmly in our faith. I invited my client to recommit to the project with the vision she had going into it, one of possibility and enthusiasm. As she resettled her faith and her vision, so did her team members. She recommitted to the project and saw a dramatic shift in energy. Who needed to change her energy first? She did. See, lots of times we're the ones that have to change our energy so that we can go ahead and attract that same kind of energy into our lives. And so in here it says, I know that divine spirit is operating through me now, guiding all that I do. And so in just, as I was thinking and I was reading this, one of the things that was stated just recently is that with certain planetary alignments that just happened, the number one thing that is occurring, and let me go ahead and go to it. Hold on. Oh, I found it. Here we go. Okay. Let me go to it because I really feel that this is going to be a little important. Hold on. Oops. It's not in here. Hold on. It's here. Here we go. I think I may have taken a picture of it, or maybe I just reposted it. It's in reference to karma. And so the karma that is now going to be coming into our lives right now is going to be the karma that we have sent out. So, for instance, and this karma is coming out very, very, very quickly. And this is what it stated earlier. It said, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. The cosmic transmission. There are two kinds of karma at play right now. The kind that returns your negative thoughts, judgments, and poor choices back to you faster than ever before. And the kind that returns your good deeds, your genuine service, and your unconditional love just as quickly. You're choosing between these two pathways with every interaction, every thought, and every feeling that sits within you, through you, and as you. The delay is narrowing. In other words, what you send out is going to come back, but faster and quicker. What you put out is coming back. This is not a warning designed to scare you. Not at all. This is an invitation to become more intentional about the energy you are carrying into every room that you walk into, rising if you're ready. We need to understand, so May 24th, the cosmic transmission, what we have to understand is that now more than ever, what is happening is that the Beam Me Up Scotty is actually saying, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to beam you up. But the question is, where are you going to land? Where are you going to land? What energy have you been sending out? So I told somebody the other day, they were like, Katrina, karma's going to come get you. I said, I certainly hope it does. And they were like, oh my God, why are you saying that? I said, because I've been sending out some pretty good vibes, honey. I said, oh my Lord, I've been sending out love. I've been sending out joy. I've been sending out success. I've been desiring for others to have, what they desire, what they want. I want only joy surrounding me, through me, as me, at the center of my being. I want for success to be, even with those that are not, my best friends. I want that gentleman that ended up murdering my husband. I want for him to have a better life than what he has, than what he chose. Because the only thing that he was looking for was acceptance and love. I want for you to wrap your mind all around that one. Because I really want that young man to be better. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Here, this 15, 16-year-old who is now an adult, he's behind bars for something else that he did. But I really want for him to do better with his life. I mean, okay, so you took my husband's life, but my husband's resting. My husband's resting. And I know that he is having a ball because the other day I dreamt him. And I dreamt him and he was happy as a lark. Happy as a lark. I got to see him. And then I said, you know what? That young man that did what he did behind bars, he also deserves to feel loved and cared for and accepted. And so that beam me up Scotty moment, I was like, oh yes, what just happened? Because it is taking you, when Scotty would beam up, Captain Kirk, he didn't know where he was going to land because it was going to be at another place, in another planet. And yet, he was so willing to go to it. He was so willing to face whatever it was that he was going to be facing. And then whenever he got home, because he would say, beam me up, Scotty. And then all of a sudden he would get home. But he still didn't know what he was going to be landing to whenever he got home. How many of us feel that way whenever you drive up to your driveway and about to go in, you're thinking, oh my God, what am I about to face? And that is called faith as you walk into that door. You're fearless. You have faith. And you have the courage to say, beam me up, Scotty. That's pretty much telling your subconscious mind, beam me up. I'm ready to face whatever it is because I am fearless. When the solution is simple, God is answering. So I want for all of us to please remember, how do you get a vehicle? Simply and easily. How do you get a house? Simply and easily. Where does your solution come from? Simple and easily. Where do you find the time to do X, Y, and Z? Simply and easily. When you put the order out into the universe and you say, wisdom, please go before me and make things right. Guardians, please go before me and make things right. There is another wonderful statement that was shared with me, and I'm going to share it with all of you just now. For some reason or another, I feel that you guys really need to hear this. And hopefully I'll be able to find it because it was just the other day that I saw it. Oh, maybe not. Oh, cool. Hold on. Let me look when. Found it. I am in tune with the abundant nature of the universe. Once again, I am in tune with the abundant nature of the universe. Once again, I am in tune with the abundant nature of the universe. Do you know what that really means? Do you understand how abundant the universe is? Do you know how abundant, and avalanches of abundance that can come and fall into your life when you simply believe and you ask and you seek and you knock? When the solution is simple, God is answering. There is not a spot that God is not. There is not a spot that God is not. And I'm going to say this out loud. And I'm going to say it loud enough so that even the people in the back can hear me. God is genderless. Love is genderless. There is not a spot that God is not. He created the snake as well as the werewolf or the wolf, as well as, the sea and the mountains and the caves and every single human being that has walked on this earth. All of it is God. The good, the bad, and even the indifferent. And I want for us to remember that. Because when we remember and when we recall and when we get out of our own way, all of a sudden we realize, wow, man, I am so fortunate to be able to do the things that I am doing today. I am, the avalanches of abundance, the natural avalanches of abundance of this universe are blessing me. And you know what abundance truly is? Abundance of health, of wealth, of joy, of peace, of integrity. Being surrounded by people of integrity. And what does integrity mean? To do the right thing even when no one else is watching. And one of the things that I will die on this hill is that I am going to do my very best for even those who are the least of my people. And so what that means is those that are, not as fortunate as all of us. We have been divided by race, color, creed, nationality, and all of these other things because we were programmed that way. And it's not until we stop the madness that we start seeing each other for who we truly are. I was telling somebody just the other day, I said, we all bleed red, except for those that are the aliens that are within our lives. And she was like, Katrina, now you've just taken it too far now. And I said, well, you do know. I said, we're not the only universe in this whole entire place. And she was like, okay, Katrina, I can only take so much. But I got her thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, I want for all of us to remember that the divine is everywhere. Good karma comes to me, comes to you. When we continue to do the right thing for everybody, good karma comes your way. When you ask wisdom to go before you and make things right. There was a lawyer that apparently wasn't too stressed about, the court case in many senses. And so what that, lawyer had said was, oh, I'm not worried. I've already gone ahead and I've sent, the wonderful guides and the spirits, before me to make things right. I've already sent, my guides and my spirits to go into the courtroom, to go into the room, and to make things right. Whoever thought of that? So simple. So simple. And the lawyer actually won his case. But what did he do? He used all of his gifts. And he used the guides. He used wisdom, understanding, knowledge, piety, fortitude. He sent them all. The angels, okay? The angel of success goes before me and makes things right. The angel of money goes before me and makes things right. The angel of wisdom goes before me and makes things right. Archangel Michael, Archangel Sophia, Archangel, all of these archangels. Archangel Gabriel. Archangel Gabriel is the one that's the messenger for messages, by the way. And so you say to Archangel Gabriel, go before me and make things right. When you tap in to all the gifts that we have been given, and a man named Jesus said, you will do greater than I. You will do greater than I. I reposted just the other day an explanation from Bashar in reference to Jesus. And I invite you to go look for it because it was an absolutely phenomenal explanation. And I'd like for it to come from someone else besides myself. And it made perfect sense. And all of a sudden, the beam me up Scotty is truly something that we can all do. Because the only thing we have to do is we just have to seek, ask, and knock. And who gave that to us? See, if we were in another part of this world, if we were in India, we'd be most potentially, practicing the Hindu religion. If we were Islamic, we would be, in Islam, we'd be doing the Muslim. We have also, potentially some Buddhists. We have all, and that's not even the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. There are thousands of practiced religions. I mean, beautiful. And I'm just going to say this. It's kind of like, there is not a spot that God is not. And so I invite you to say, Scotty, beam me up. Because then where you're going to land, you're fearless. You are unstoppable. And the universal blessings are as followed. We rejoice that the true blessings are for all alike. Perfect love has given all of itself to each soul. The fullness of life is free to all and waits only for recognition and acknowledgement to be known as the supply of every need. All of my needs are taken care of. All of my needs are taken care of. All of my needs are taken care of. All are offspring of the one good Father, inheritors of every blessing, and shall come to know this truth. In Ephesians 4:4-6, there is one God and Father of all, who is above all and through all and in all. And by the way, in the next 7 years, it is the matriarchy that's actually doing the shift. Please remember that. Just remember that I'm saying that now, okay? Have we not all one Father? Hath not one God created us? Malachi 2:10. And every knee shall bend and every tongue confess to God. See, but where does God reside? Within each of us. So whenever you come and you talk with me, or I come and I talk with you, what are we doing? We're confessing. So why do you think it's so important? Now, I'm not saying stop being Catholic. No, I'm saying I'm inviting you. Go and do, if that is your faith, if that brings you peace, by all means, please go and do that. If it brings you peace to talk to somebody, just honestly, that's not going to judge you, that's not going to, belittle you, and instead is going to say, okay, and how does that make you feel? What can you do different? How can you, honor the Christ within you, the Buddha mind within you? How can you honor the love that goes through you, in you, and as you? Or how can you foster and nurture that love? There is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all. Colossians 3:11. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. That's going to be Psalm 24:1. And the reason that I'm quoting these is because some people need a particular scripture. Okay? For me, I'm going to tell you, I do scripture. I also get onto Gaia Network. I also get onto the masterclass. I end up reading different books. I end up listening to different lectures. I am a sponge. And then I decipher, because what I have to do is I have to understand what is truly going to be, that resonates with my body, with my whole entire body and my whole entire essence. Feminine energy being emphasized is the capacity to allow, to feel, and to adapt, which helps people stay aligned in a reality that reflects their internal state more quickly. One-line summary: it's not about becoming more feminine. It's about becoming more responsive than forceful. And one of the things, I want to go ahead and kind of look at this. Let me see if I can see it a little bit better. Hold on. Let me see, where did it go? I'm trying to read it. Where did you go? Here it is. No, that's not it. It went someplace. Hold on. Where did it go at the top? Yes, here it is. Existing as existence. It's a presence. As above, so below. And made in the image of. We have to remember that when we hear and listen and understand that we are in the image of God, it is not just male. It is non-gender. It's genderless. So whenever we're trying to understand all of these different types of, our youth that's coming up, it's all God. The good, the bad, and even the indifferent. So I'm going to say, it's like right here, clean teaching that I could give. This was a suggestion, so I'm reading it. What's being called feminine energy is really your ability to feel, receive, and respond instead of forcing life. Have you guys noticed that right now, the energy in this, especially here in the United States, is that they're trying to force us. They're trying to force us into a box. And instead, what's rising? What is rising? Okay, if it's not the feminine energy, and it's the ability to feel, to receive, to respond instead of forcing. As things become more sensitive to your state, that flexibility becomes more important. See, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer just being logical. We are now embracing our let us understand so that we can also be understood. It is being more adaptive, emotionally aware, less reactive. We are being more present. Do you know that now as a chaplain, here I am, it's kind of like I am more present to people than I have in many, 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 many moons. I enjoy my alone time a lot more than I ever did. And even another friend of mine, at one time she was dependent, not just codependent. I'm talking about dependent on others. And now, oh, honey, she's just like, oh, I like my peace. I'm going to tell you something. Peace, oh, it's priceless. Oh, peace is priceless. It is so beautiful. It is so wonderful. It is just priceless. And then if you meet somebody that encourages and brings you closer together, and then, both of you can say, beam me up, Scotty, and both of you are fearless together, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like you are in the awareness of oneness. Peace be still, ladies and gentlemen. Peace be still. And the feminine is rising. So I really want for all of us to remember. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about some of these things right here. Sense of alignment instead of forcing it. Process emotion instead of suppressing it. Allowing instead of controlling. And staying connected. How can we stay connected? Let me go ahead and show you one way that you can stay connected. Do some tapping right here. You can grab your little fingers, do them like this. It looks like a little snaky kind of like, but it's not, okay? The 3 fingers are together. These 2 fingers go down. And then right here at the heart, you end up tapping. Take a deep breath. Smile. Smile. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. Keep tapping. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Divine right order, right here, right now. Divine right order, right here, right now. Take another deep breath. Ooh. That's it. That is one way of being connected. If you did it with me, you will feel your whole entire body, just resonating and feeling absolutely re-energized. You're welcome. Okay, I certainly hope that you enjoyed today's wonderful Scotty, beam me up. Because it was really good, wasn't it? I really enjoyed Beam Me Up, Scotty. Most definitely. It was a good lesson today. Now, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and, I am so honored and so privileged that I'm able to come to you and to talk and to just inspire and just be able to give you guys some, some oomph. Kind of like, andale, let's keep going. Lots of times I have to do this for myself, and so how I do it for myself, it's like I end up looking in the mirror and I go, you're just so gorgeous, and I just love you, Mary Catherine, and no estoy mirando, and I'm like, ay, mira que chula estás. If nobody else does it, at least I do it for myself. What can I say? Okay. So let us go ahead and hold our tithes and our offerings in our hands and our prayer requests. We do have prayer requests. So if you have a prayer request, the number one prayer request that I have for you guys today is 2 of them. One is going to be, there's going to be 3 of them, but one is going to be Vanessa Snyder, if I'm mistaken. So later, I'm going to be sending out her Cash App. She is really needing some assistance, and I'm going to go ahead and write something out, and I'm going to send it out, so be expecting that, and I'm going to have her Cash App in there, and so hopefully we'll go ahead and support her, okay? Now, we all need we all need a pick-me-up. And then the second thing is for one of our parishioners. Her son had a particular incident, and we're just sending him, and the only thing I'm going to say is we are sending him perfect divine health because he's a miracle walking, okay? And then the third one is going to be for another parishioner of ours, and we're asking for their niece, and may they have a beautiful transition easily and effortlessly as needed and as guided by God himself. And so I just, I'm going to say this. It's kind of like, the prayer request, it's right here. We are now saying it is now done. It is now completed. We're going to be uplifting one and all. And I'm going to say this. It's like, I welcome each and every one of you to come here. I've had Jehovah's Witnesses, Muslim, Pentecostal, Baptist, Catholic, those that have been, kind of like feel like, I think I've outgrown New Thought. Every kind of person that you can think of. Come in here to Center for Practical Spirituality. And so I once again invite you, come on in. It's kind of like we're here. We'd love to have you, here face to face. If you can't make it, that's why I do. And I'm still doing these Facebook Lives. And very soon, I'll have the courage to turn on and hit go on that. I have a few, videos up in the YouTube area, but we need to hit go on the rest of them. Anyways, so right now, I'd like for us to go ahead and hold, and you guys are more than welcome to come around. We'd love to see you. Please continue to uplift and uphold all of those prayer requests, and just know that we have some very powerful people that pray on all of these prayer requests. So let us go ahead and say together, divine love in me, as me, and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And so it is. And so, many times we don't talk about, what we do, and how we give back and the things that, how we end up helping others. And so there's, we're helping another church to continue to have their, lights on and everything else. I also preach and teach at another church. And then, the other thing that we do is we help on occasion if, some students, if they need supplies, or let's say that there's someone that's needing help with some unexpected funeral expenses. If there are some people that are needing, for instance, also like every once in a while, it's kind of like we get a request. You remember that, Pampers request, and that some of those churches said no? Well, guess what? We say yes. So it's kind of like that's one of the things that we do help with. Limited, of course, but you know what? It's kind of like we try to do our very best. And then, in helping others, it's kind of like it's been a very good and very prosperous and very beautiful ministry, So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for always, giving from your heart, most definitely. And, and we know that any and all that we receive here at Center for Practical Spirituality, it is multiplied tenfold. So thank you. Thank you so very much for all that you have done for us and for this community. We continue. We'll see each other next week. May the power of the Father, the love of the Son, and the freedom of the Holy Spirit be with you today and always. And so it is. I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle. I'm ready for a miracle today. I've got my mind in tune for one. I'm ready to experience one. I'm ready for a miracle today. My mind is open, ready to receive it. My heart is opened all the way. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle. I do accept a miracle today. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle. I do receive a miracle today. Very good, very good. Yay! I love you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.